Hello there fellow Star Wars fans, and welcome to today's video. The Millennium Falcon is undoubtedly one of, if not the most iconic spaceships in fiction. Everyone knows that it was owned by Han Solo, who won it against Lando, but did you know its rich past and history? In today's video, we are going to be diving into the ship's past and talking about all the previous owners of the Millennium Falcon that we know of. The information in this video comes from the New York Times bestseller, Millennium Falcon by James Luceno. Now also, just so you know, since all these people on the list come from a novel, there aren't really any pictures showing them, so a lot of the visual for this video will just be of the Millennium Falcon flying around. Now, let's begin. Let's start with where the ship was built. The Millennium Falcon was built on Corellia by the Corellian Engineering Corporation. While it was on the assembly line, there was an incident involving a manufacturing droid who accidentally poured too much fuel into the Falcon and caused the fuel cells to redline. The ship went out of control and rocketed around the facility, crashing around the shipyard and destroying droids and ships in its path. One of the techs, named Bond, said that the ship was born of fire and a hero's birth. Kind of a cool beginning for such an iconic ship. The ship's first real owners were Corel Industries Limited, where the ship was used to haul goods. It went by a few names during that time, such as Corel's Pride, Fickle Flyer, and Metil's Misery. The company went out of business and it was sold to the next owners, who were siblings. They were freelancers named Dover Bridger and Cal Bridger. The ship was called the Jackpot until a deal went bad and Dover died. It was then renamed the Wayward Son. In around 29 BBY, the ship was bought by the Republic Group. The Republic Group was a secret group led by a handful of senators and a few Jedi. Not a lot is known or revealed in the novel, but the group went behind Palpatine's back in the hopes of getting others away from his grip and themes. Now, interestingly enough, this is actually why the ship is docking right under Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. A lot of you probably know this, but in a shot right here you can see the Millennium Falcon, or as it was called at the time, the Stellar Envoy, land right below. It was being flown by two pilots, Jadek and Reese. It was also in the battle over Coruscant and followed the crashing Invisible Hand down to Coruscant. After that, the two were instructed to deliver the ship to allies of the Republic Group on Topral. They were sent to Nar Shaddaa, and the ship died temporarily and crashed into a larger ship, killing both of the pilots. Jadek's consciousness was later put into another body about 60 years later. Eventually, a month after the accident, it was repaired by its new owners, Reg, Taunt, and Bami Dekri. They had to replace a decent amount of the ship, as you can imagine after a crash like that. Once repaired, the ship went on a smuggling job which failed and was forced to land on an Imperial compound, where it stayed for 3 years. It was eventually stolen by Zen Bien, who was working with the Rebel Alliance. They named the ship Broken Pieces, but would eventually change it to the Millennium Falcon. It's interesting to think about the fact that the ship was a part of the Alliance before Han was. The Millennium Falcon was used on a strike that a Rebel agent named Quip Fargill was supposed to be in. He had doubts about the strike and left. He felt guilty about leaving and decided to donate the ship to its next owner, a doctor named Parley Thorpe, who used the ship for various operations for several years. After that, it was sold to a traveling circus that eventually lost the ship to Lando Calrissian. Now, I'm sure you all have a pretty good idea about what happened after this. Lando worked with his smuggling friend Han Solo. During a game of sabacc, Lando was running low on money. Lando told Han that if he won, he could have any ship he wanted. Lando thought that he would pick one of the shiny chrome-plated yachts that he owned, not the ship that Lando had been secretly upgrading for a few years. So that is all the owners of the Millennium Falcon. Obviously, some of the owners were a little bit more interesting than others, which is why some of the sections are longer. I also try not to go into too much detail so that you can read the books yourself in the future without having too many details spoiled. Anyway, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and may the Force be with you.